Before you hear this unbelievable story, make sure you stay until the very end because the final scene changed everything and left an entire production speechless. What started as an ordinary filming day slowly turned into a moment nobody on set would ever forget. If you love emotional stories, shocking twists, heartfelt connections, and unforgettable behind-the-scenes drama, subscribe now and turn on notifications because this story will take you on a journey that becomes more surprising with every passing moment. The morning began like any other. The production studio was already buzzing before sunrise. Crew members moved equipment across the massive filming location. Assistants checked schedules. Directors reviewed scene lists. Stylists hurried between dressing rooms. Everyone had a task. Everyone had somewhere to be. The atmosphere felt energetic but demanding. A major scene was scheduled that day, one that required absolute focus from every person involved. Among the first actors to arrive was Tian Xiwei. As always, she greeted everyone with a smile. She thanked crew members. She exchanged friendly conversations with makeup artists. She reviewed scripts while preparing for the long day ahead. To outsiders, she appeared completely fine, confident, relaxed, professional. But hidden behind her smile was something nobody knew. She had barely slept. For nearly a week, she had been pushing herself beyond exhaustion. Long filming schedules, promotional activities, travel commitments, interviews, photo shoots. The pressure had quietly accumulated. Yet she continued moving forward because she did not want to disappoint anyone. Not the director, not the cast, not the production team, not the fans waiting for the drama's release. She convinced herself she could handle it. Unfortunately, her body had begun sending warnings she could no longer ignore. As filming started that morning, something felt different. Several crew members noticed she seemed unusually quiet. Normally, she laughed between takes. Normally, she chatted with staff members. Normally, she brought positive energy wherever she went. But that day, there was a noticeable change. She remained focused on her script. She barely touched her breakfast. She repeatedly rubbed her temples whenever she thought nobody was watching. Nobody paid much attention at first. Everyone assumed she was simply concentrating on the difficult scenes ahead. Everyone except one person, Zhang Linghe. He noticed immediately, not because anyone told him, not because someone pointed it out. He simply noticed. The way her smile appeared slightly forced. The way she stared into space during breaks. The way she took deeper breaths after every rehearsal. Small details others overlooked. Small details that quietly concerned him. Throughout the morning, he observed from a distance. He said nothing. He did not want to embarrass her. He did not want to make assumptions. Still, something felt wrong. Hours passed. The filming became increasingly demanding. Several emotional scenes required repeated takes. The temperature inside the studio rose. Everyone grew tired. Yet Tian Xiwei kept pushing herself. Again and again. Take after take. Scene after scene. Until finally something happened. During an important rehearsal, she suddenly lost focus. Only for a second. Just one brief moment. But it was enough. The director immediately called for a pause. Concern spread across the set. Tian Xiwei quickly apologized and insisted she was fine. She smiled. She reassured everyone. She asked to continue. The production resumed. But Zhang Linghe was no longer convinced. Later that afternoon, he quietly disappeared from the set. No announcement. No explanation. No attention. Most people assumed he had gone to prepare for his next scene. Nobody thought twice about it. Nearly 40 minutes later, he returned. And what happened next would become the talk of the entire production. As Tian Xiwei sat alone reviewing her script during a break, someone placed a small insulated bag beside her. She looked up. Standing there was Zhang Linghe. Inside the bag was a carefully prepared meal. Not the standard catering provided on set. Not a random snack. A proper meal selected specifically for her. Warm soup, fresh fruit, light dishes. Everything chosen thoughtfully. Tian Xiwei looked surprised. Where did this come from? Zhang Linghe simply smiled. Eat first. The script can wait. She laughed softly. The surrounding crew exchanged curious glances. Nobody understood what was happening. Then an assistant revealed something unexpected. Zhang Linghe had personally left the set earlier to find food because he noticed Tian Xiwei had skipped breakfast and lunch. The entire area fell silent. Several crew members stared in disbelief. Others exchanged shocked looks. Many had worked in the entertainment industry for years. They had witnessed friendships, professional partnerships, supportive coworkers. Yet this level of attention was rare. Very rare. Tian Xiwei appeared speechless. For several moments, she simply looked at the meal. Not because of the food itself, but because someone had noticed. Someone had paid attention. Someone had cared enough to act. She thanked him. He shrugged casually, as though it were nothing. But the story did not end there. As evening approached, the production faced another challenge. The most emotionally demanding scene of the entire episode remained unfinished. Everyone knew it would require extraordinary concentration. The director gathered the cast. Instructions were given. Cameras were prepared. Lighting crews finalized adjustments. Silence settled across the set. The scene began. Tian Xiwei delivered an incredible performance. Her emotions felt authentic, powerful, moving. Even veteran crew members became impressed. Then, unexpectedly, she forgot a line. A minor mistake. One that could happen to anyone. Yet, after hours of exhaustion, she became frustrated with herself. The disappointment showed immediately. The director called for another take. Tian Xiwei apologized repeatedly. The crew reassured her. Still, she looked upset. Then something happened that nobody anticipated. Before filming resumed, Zhang Linghe stepped forward. Without warning, he deliberately performed his own line incorrectly. The cast looked confused. The director looked confused. Everyone looked confused. Another take began. Once again, Zhang Linghe intentionally stumbled over his dialogue. The director stopped filming. People wondered what was going on. Then suddenly they understood. He was trying to make her laugh. Trying to ease the pressure she was placing on herself. Trying to remind her that mistakes happen. The strategy worked. Tian Xiwei burst into laughter. The tension vanished instantly. Crew members started laughing too. Even the director struggled to hide his amusement. For the first time all day, she looked genuinely relaxed. Moments later, filming resumed. This time, everything flowed perfectly. The scene was completed. The entire studio erupted into applause. Yet the most shocking moment was still waiting. Late that night, filming finally wrapped. Most cast members prepared to leave. Equipment was being packed away. Vehicles waited outside. People were eager to go home. But one assistant noticed something unusual. A dressing room light remained on. Inside sat Tian Xiwei, alone, still reviewing scripts for the following day, determined to prepare despite her exhaustion. Several minutes later, another figure appeared. Zhang Linghe. He walked into the room carrying 2 cups of tea. They spent nearly an hour discussing scenes, practicing dialogue, sharing ideas, reviewing emotional moments. Not because anyone asked them to, not because cameras were present, not because publicity teams were watching, simply because he wanted to help. Word spread quickly through the production team. Crew members passing nearby witnessed the conversation. Some stopped and watched through the open doorway. Not because of romance, not because of gossip, but because of the genuine kindness unfolding before them. One veteran crew member, who had spent decades working in television, quietly shook his head. I have seen many actors, but this is rare. Very rare. The following morning, the atmosphere on set felt different. Tian Xiwei arrived looking refreshed. More energetic. More confident. More relaxed. The previous day's exhaustion seemed gone. Her performance became stronger than ever. The director noticed. The cast noticed. Everyone noticed. And gradually they learned the full story. How Zhang Linghe had quietly monitored her well-being. How he left the set to find food. How he lightened the atmosphere when pressure became overwhelming. How he stayed late helping her prepare. How he never once sought attention for any of it. The revelation spread throughout the production like wildfire. Actors discussed it. Crew members discussed it. Assistants discussed it. Everyone reached the same conclusion. What stunned them was not the gesture itself. It was the sincerity behind it. There was no audience, no publicity, no social media content, no interviews, no cameras recording the moment. Just kindness. Pure and simple. Weeks later, the production wrapped successfully. A celebration was organized. Cast and crew gathered together for one final evening. Stories were shared. Memories were revisited. Laughter filled the room. Near the end of the event, the director stood to give a speech. He thanked everyone for their dedication. He praised the crew. He praised the cast. Then, he mentioned something nobody expected. He spoke about the importance of supporting one another, about looking after colleagues, about creating an environment where people can succeed together. Then he looked directly toward Zhang Linghe and Tian Xiwei. The room immediately understood. Applause erupted, louder than anyone anticipated. Some crew members even stood. Others cheered. Several people looked emotional. Tian Xiwei smiled. Zhang Linghe appeared embarrassed by the attention. But the applause continued, because everyone in that room knew they had witnessed something special. Not a grand gesture, not a dramatic announcement, not a headline seeking attention. Something far more meaningful. A simple act of compassion. A reminder that success becomes more meaningful when shared with others. And long after filming ended, long after the final episode aired, long after fans moved on to the next drama, one story remained unforgettable. The story of what Zhang Linghe quietly did behind the scenes for Tian Xiwei. A story so unexpected, so genuine, so touching, that it left the entire cast stunned and reminded everyone that sometimes the most powerful moments happen when nobody is supposed to be watching. And perhaps that is why those moments are remembered forever. Because true kindness does not ask for recognition. It simply appears when someone needs it most. Then changes everything.